People think that infinite zoom drawings are just cool visuals, but in fact, they're a masterclass in storytelling. Every one of the zooms that I'm going to show you tells a story, and it tells a story in a different way. When you learn to sequence your drawings in a way that makes sense to your viewers, and you're able to draw them in more and more and pique their curiosity along the way, that's when you become a master storyteller. Not everybody out there approaches infinite zoom the way I do. There's a lot of infinite zoom artists who do amazing work, and they'll start with, for instance, a broad picture, and maybe they'll zoom into the right-hand side of the picture and show you a small detail, and then they zoom back out, zoom in on the other side of the picture and tell you something that's very completely different, very unrelated to the first thing that they told you. And then maybe they'll zoom back out and zoom in a third place, and then maybe go deeper and deeper into that storyline. A lot of times the storylines are super creative, and I love them. I love these artworks, but they aren't my style, because when I go to create, I like to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And I think it's because I've been trained to do children's book illustration, and I have actually written and illustrated my own children's book. I got an award lately and a Kirkus starred review for that book. So it was received well, and I think it was received well because it was a story. It had a beginning, a middle, and an end. It had some twists and turns in there to keep people's interest in the storyline. And then I had some pretty strong visual paintings to go with it. And so that's where I'm coming from. And that's what has infused itself into my infinite zooms, is this idea of storytelling. The first way that I want to show you how to tell a story is through this very traditional framework of the alphabet. And before you think this is too simple, it's beyond me, just consider how challenging it might be to create 26 interesting drawings where you are led from one to the other very easily, because you're simply reading the alphabet to someone or showing the alphabet to someone else. It's a really wonderful, easy framework. A whole story can come from it. In mine, I really leaned into animals and nature, but you could lean into motors and trucks, or you could lean into stars and planets. Like, there's so many possibilities with the alphabet. You can choose any theme that you want to. So I'm just going to take you in here a few more so that you kind of see how my storyline goes, and you can see the consistency of how I'm creating my drawings, with kind of a border around with the letters, and then the animals all tied in to the letters. And I think I've got one more letter that I'm going to show you. We go in here through the humpback whale's eyes, and this is a work in progress, and I have several letters to go. The next one that I want to show you, it's going to start out a little bit messy. This is not the drawing. This is my brain dump. So this drawing, I'm using a historical timeline, and this is sort of the messy look of it. I'm going to take you over here, and I'm going to show you what that means. So I wanted to describe clothing, the history of costume and clothing and style across time. So I started in the Neolithic period, did some research to see how a Neolithic person might be dressed, and then I moved into the Bronze Age, and I researched how that person might be dressed. That led me to the Egyptian period, which was so much fun to draw. And I've always been a fan of Grecian vases, which would be the next period that I covered. And these periods that I'm covering all follow a timeline that is historically accurate. Now in this one, I actually I kind of combined two cultures into one drawing. This is a Nordic tale, but it's done in a Celtic style. And the reason that I decided to do that is because artistically those two cultures were happening at the same time, and they had a lot of similarities in how they were styled. And then this one is across the globe, a Mayan dignitary. And then I went all the way back over to China, and I looked at the Tang Dynasty. And then the sari came into being shortly after that over in India. And following that was the appearance of the first Mexican Madonna. And so I really am enjoying this one. I have quite a few more drawings to do that'll bring me up to the present. The last drawing that I want to go over with you is the infinite zoom drawing of a concept. So this doesn't have a set framework like the alphabet or the timeline did. This is simply an idea that I had, but it was a complete thought. And the complete thought is that you have the key to the universe inside yourself. Your body is the portal to your inner spirit, and that will lead you to the mysteries of the universe. That's it. That's what I wanted to say. And you can be the judge of whether I accomplished that. I actually used the words here and there to convey what I was trying to say with the pictures. But I think the feeling comes across that we just go into discovery within ourselves to discover the greater universe. Okay, let's recap the 3 ways that I showed you how I do sequential storytelling in Infinite Zoom. The first one was the alphabet book, which is a traditional cultural norm, and it really offers an easy framework to create rhythm and sequencing, clear storytelling through your Infinite Zoom drawing. The second way that we looked at to tell the story was through a timeline, and that's simply using history as your way of sequencing from one drawing to the next. And if you remember, I used the clothing over time. I went all over the globe, but because I had a timeline plan, it made sense as I moved through the drawing. So the last example that I gave you was to take a very simple and clear idea. It doesn't have to be a long story. It could be one sentence to describe what you want to say. I basically wanted to say in that last video that your body is the portal to your inner spirit and ultimately to the universe at large. That's all I wanted to say. And I think that I did that through the series of images that I put forth. I did actually use some of the words in the imagery, but you don't have to. If you have a clear, simple idea that you want to get across, you'll probably find that you can do a series of 2, 3, 4 images and get your idea across. Before I conclude this video, I just want to let you know I've got another video on here that I made that talks about doing storytelling through trending sounds and music that's available to you online. So check that one out. And please hit the like and subscribe. It'll keep us connected, which is the most important to me. I really want to stay connected with artists who find what I'm doing useful. I want to hear what you're doing. I want to hear how it's turning out for you. And I want to hear what else you'd like to learn from me. Drop a line in the comments. I read all of them and I answer everything. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.